We've done all of our conversations for Reflections on the Silver Screen in my library up until now. But today we're doing something different. We're visiting Miss Katharine Hepburn in her house on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. She's invited us to join her here, and she invited me to sit in this chair. Special because this was the chair that Spencer Tracy used to sit in. So we accepted that invitation. We thought you might like to see where she lives, and it is, after all, Miss Katharine Hepburn.
I think movies are great, you see. I just love movies.
Why?
I don't know whether it's that they're easy to see, but I just find it an enormously satisfactory medium to watch, to be in, you name it. No, I love movies.
Do you think there's anything that you might do differently now, knowing what you know?
What do you mean?
Well, in other words, if you could go back and change any of the choices over 60 years, this is not a realistic offer I'm making you. I can't really offer this.
No, but I mean, I wouldn't, obviously the ones that don't come off. I mean, you can read something and think it's terribly funny. Sylvia Scarlett, we thought was terribly funny. It's rather popular now,
yes,
actually, but it was a disaster, total disaster.
Did you know it when you were shooting it?
No.
So it's only later. Did you ever resent the fact that in movies, you would create a character, you would create whatever it was you were doing, but that you had no say over which take the director would use, over which scenes would be included?
Well, I used to have quite a lot of say, on the contrary.
You did?
When I bothered to see the stuff. Oh, yes.
But that wasn't usual for that time.
No, but it was usual for me.
I'll bet.
I never felt imposed on.
Yes.
That is, I never felt I could disagree with George Cukor about what was good and what was lousy, or John Huston or something.
Yeah.
But usually if it's something that's very questionable, you see it and discuss it. So I never found that a problem in the movies.
Let's go back to the beginning if we can.
Okay.
I have read that you initially wanted to follow in your father's footsteps, and that you toyed with the idea of being a doctor, as your dad was. Your
surgeon.
Father was a very distinguished surgeon who was really
Yes.
ahead of his time. And then you struggled with chemistry. Do I have that right? And that was because you couldn't deal with chemistry. You couldn't pass chemistry.
I was stupid. Just stupid. And everything that would lead up to being a doctor.
Well, why, when you decided that you couldn't handle that being a doctor, why did you then go for acting?
I don't know. I think that just happened. I honestly can't remember.
You know,
I didn't think I wanted to be an actor, but I did when I was a kid. Played the Beast and Beauty and the Beast and a few things like that. But I think I wanted to be famous.
You think you did want to be?
I think I wanted to be noticed. But maybe I'm wrong. I think I have been noticed.
Yes, you have. When you first went out to Hollywood, you went up to Hollywood from the Broadway stage.
Yes.
And again, you had this notion of building a career and perhaps of being famous. You did a film in 1932 called Bill of Divorcement.
That's right.
With George Cukor.
Yep.
Who would end up being someone you would work with many times over the years to come.
We're great friends, yes.
There was a breakfast scene in that film where you ended up having to do it time and time again, endless takes.
Yes.
And every time you did it,
I had to eat a breakfast.
When you got out to Hollywood and you did this first film in 32, do you remember what surprised you? What surprised you about Hollywood? You remember the things that you sort of weren't expecting? I know we're going back a lot of years here. We're going back a long time.
60.
60 years, exactly so.
About more, I think, really. Yes, about 62 or 3.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because I'm 85,
Yeah, you look.
and I
you-
went out there in 32.
Yes. And I'm just curious, when you first got out there, if you settled in and
So
suddenly...
I thought it was great. I liked it.
You did?
And I like movie making. I don't like the theater.
Really?
No, I think the theater's a bore. Because you have to stay up late to do it. And I like movies. And
But
that was great. And you had to go to work at 6 o'clock. Then it was fine with me. I was happy to go to work at 6 o'clock as long as I could go home at 5 o'clock.
yeah, I know. Movies are made in little bits and pieces. When you were working in the theater, you would work on the stage, you would develop an act, a character, and you would spend whatever, 90 minutes or 2 hours with an audience. Did you find it difficult at first working in those little bits and pieces?
No, I
and-
liked all that.
Really?
Oh, yes.
And what,
Like movies, like everything about movies.
right from the beginning?
Right from the beginning, yes. I do. And everything about the theater is doomed with me because I'm an early riser and I like to go to bed at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Well, speaking of early rising, you did a movie called Morning Glory,
Yes, I did.
1933. And it was a terrific performance.
Yes, it was copied from Ruth Gordon. My name's Eva Lovelace, Lovelace. I added the legs. Do you smoke? I do. And she did that in a picture, in a sort of Mistress of Monotone. And I'm a big fan of Ruth Gordon. I think was a brilliant actress. I learned a hell of a lot from her. And I won the award. Copy guy took caller and said I should send you this award because there it is. It's you.
In 33, in that same year, you also did Little Women, again with George Cukor.
Brilliant.
Brilliant film,
Brilliant casting.
brilliant casting.
And a really brilliant script. And that was